Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Gay divorce. Divorce in Canada may be impossible for some same-sex couples, mostly because their so-called marriage didn't happen in the first place. Thousands of homosexual couples are not legally married now that results of a recent divorce case in Canada show that the court system was not prepared to deal with a problem they created. Two lesbians, whose names have not been released, applied for a divorce only to be told that they were never legally married to begin with, since they could not have lawfully wed in Florida or England. According to Damien Goddard, the spokesperson for the Marriage Anti-Defamation Alliance, the whole episode is a bit of an embarrassment. Here's what he had to say in a recent phone interview.
It's an embarrassing thing, really, for Canada, because you had these judges, these town hall judges, that were basically issuing marriage licenses without even knowing the law.
Ever since homosexual marriage was legalized in Canada in 2004, same-sex couples have been moving there specifically to tie the knot, many making hasty decisions to do so. The government says they will not make allowances for the roughly 5,000 couples currently outside the law, who represent 1/3 of the married, quote married, same-sex couples in the country. Gay divorce is also likely to be even more problematic in Canada and elsewhere, as a report from the Family Research Council says that, quote, committed homosexual relationships have an average of 8 sexual partners outside of their relationship per year. Assassination attempt. A deadly gun battle has erupted outside the house of a Chaldean Catholic archbishop in Iraq in what is believed to be a terrorist attack attempt. Armed men assaulted the house of Archbishop Louis Sacco of Kirkuk in the early afternoon, and nearby security guards and police exchanged gunfire with the attackers, resulting in 5 wounded police, 2 killed terrorists, and 1 arrest. Iraqi officials claim the assassins' bullets were meant for a member of Iraqi parliament who lived nearby and not for the archbishop. Though the archbishop was unharmed, CatholicCulture.org says the attack has only inflamed fear among the Christian minority of further attacks from Muslims. Texas protects Unborn. A law that seeks to preserve the life of the unborn has been cleared for enforcement by the 5th District Court of Appeals in Texas, despite opposition from Planned Parenthood and its cooperators. The law, which requires women seeking an abortion to have an ultrasound and listen to a doctor's detailed description of the unborn child, was called unconstitutional because the judge claimed it violated doctors' free speech rights by making them advance a, quote, ideological agenda they might not agree with. However, a panel of 3 judges has now reversed that ruling, saying the law merely requires physicians to provide, quote, truthful, non-misleading information, and does not violate any rights to free speech. The president of Planned Parenthood, Cecile Richards, claims the law sets, quote, an abhorrent precedent, as many states set themselves to consider new laws in the coming year that will regulate the use of contraception and abortion. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Pastors protest. They were booted out of public schools for holding services there, and now pastors in New York are coming together to protest the city's mistreatment of their church congregations. 60 churches have been evicted from holding meetings in school buildings since the law was enacted last year, and the Supreme Court has refused to hear the case of these congregations. Tension is mounting around the issue since churchgoers have been given until February 12th to completely vacate the buildings they are using, and several pastors were arrested just last week for praying in front of the city's law department. The protest will be held this week during Mayor Bloomberg's public State of the City address. And finally, Goofy Google Doodle. A recent Google Doodle honored the father of modern geology at the top of its search page. However, the internet giant failed to mention that he was also a dedicated Catholic priest. The doodle represented the two scientific laws that Blessed Nicholas Steno is known for discovering: the principle of original horizontality and the law of superposition. Nicholas is also recognized as the father of modern stratigraphy, as well as his conversion from Lutheranism to Catholicism. He died in 1686 and was beatified by Blessed Pope John Paul II in 1987. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex, where Michael talks about the family feud in the different camps within the church. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.